Hey everybody, it's Ben Goessling from the Star Tribune coming to you with this week's Vikings Big Question. With the Vikings headed to London this week for the fourth time since 2013, I thought it'd be useful to look at why they're there as much as they are and where that will go in the future. I wanted to start with a little bit of history here. The Vikings, of course, played for the first time there at Wembley Stadium in 2013 in the final year of the Metrodome, and that's important for what we're going to talk about because stadium leases and agreements that teams have with the stadiums they play in has a lot to do with who goes or who can go overseas or go international for an NFL game. The Vikings, of course, were in their final year at the Metrodome in 2013 and had talked with the league about playing more games overseas in 2014 and 2015 when they were at TCF Bank Stadium. They, of course, played the one game at Wembley Stadium in 2013, the final year of the Metrodome, and did not go back in those other years. The next time they went back, the next two times they went back, in fact, were as the road team in 2017 and in 2022 when they played the Saints at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They will now go back as the home team, as the team giving up a home date on their schedule for the second time. And they are only allowed to do that once more in the first 15 years of US Bank Stadium, which means they could go back and play, whether it's in London or possibly in Canada at some point where they also have marketing rights. They can do that one more time, I believe, between now and 2030. That first game they played in 2013 does count in their stadium use agreement with the Minnesota Sports Facilities Authority in the three games that they can play outside US Bank Stadium in the first 15 years of the deal. So the Vikings basically could give up one more home game between now and the end of the decade. I would look at 2026 or 2028 for the possibility of that, maybe even 2030. The reason I say those years are those are the seasons that NFC teams have 9 home games. And typically what you're going to see the NFL do now is send teams that have 9 home games overseas as the home team to give up one of those games. Certainly the Vikings could play overseas again as a road team, but in terms of them giving up a home date on their schedule, there's really only one more time that you could expect to see this happen internationally in the rest of the decade. And certainly the Vikings have interest in doing this. They've been clear about that. Kevin O'Connell talked about it last time the Vikings were in London, how important it is to them as an organization and it is to the Wilfs as owners to expose more fans internationally to the Vikings and what their culture is and what their brand is. That's certainly a goal that this team has. They've played over in London now 4 times. They are one of 6 teams with marketing rights in the UK, and they also have them in Canada. So they could play in Canada if there is a stadium that's suitable for that in the future. But the international games are not going away for the NFL or for the Vikings. A lot of where those games will be in terms of whether they're the home team or the road team is probably going to be dictated by that stadium use agreement. So just wanted to give you a little bit of a primer on how things work for the Vikings going internationally and how they could look in the coming years as they go forward. The short version is expect more international games. If you're seeing when they're going to give up a home date on their schedule, look at those even-numbered years for possibilities of that, but probably only one more time beyond this one for the rest of the decade. The Vikings leave for London on Thursday. I will be there with Chip Scoggins and Mike Rand from the Star Tribune, as well as Liz Flores, our fantastic photographer. We'll have everything covered for you from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and we're looking to do a fan meetup in London on Saturday. So if you're going over there for the game, let us know, and we'll get you details about when we're going to get together. We'd love to say hello, and thank you for your support of the Star Tribune. So thanks for watching this episode of Big Question, and we'll talk to you either from London or when we're back here in the States. Have a great week.